Hello.
Thanks for coming.
Sure.
Okay, I know you're recording me. I'm going to tell you I'm recording you. Okay? All right? Because I want everything that we say to each other to be recorded.
Sure.
All
You
right?
want to step away from the door so the dog's not barking?
Yeah. Here's what happened.
Okay.
This is a chronic situation. I've been living here 12 years. This lot has been trespassed on probably 5,000 or 6,000 times in the last 12 years.
Okay.
All right, you see that tee box right out there?
Yep.
Where the bucket is? We're downrange of it.
Okay.
All right, the golf course will tell you, if you go to the golf course manager, they'll say, gee, he don't have a problem. He doesn't have a problem. I don't. I don't have a problem when the men's club goes through in the morning. But in the afternoon, like right now, when the morons come out, and what I mean by a moron is somebody like your size. What, are you about 6'3", 240 pounds?
Well, I appreciate the size, but I'm not quite that big.
Well, you're a big fella. Your standard issue, you get on that tee box, if you've never played a round of golf in your life and you're out with your buddies, asking you to hit a golf ball with a golf club to that green is like asking you to do calculus. You shouldn't be on there.
Okay.
All right? You have no skills with a golf club at all. You don't know anything about it. You don't know which end of the club to hold on to. You squeeze it like until the blood comes out of the end of it. You have no skills. That's what I deal with day in, day out. When I get a window broke by the golf course, and the golf course knows that.
Have you had a window broken yet?
All the time. You see that panel up there?
Yeah.
That's the replacement cost of that panel is $750 right there. Okay, replacement.
And the club doesn't give you any...
No, they don't get it. They go, as soon as it leaves our airspace. This is ghetto golf. This is ghetto golf. If you were working the streets in downtown Phoenix and kids were going by and throwing rocks at something near your house, and a rock got away from and busted your window, you'd be after those kids, right after them, right? Sure. Now, I got the same situation here. We got morons back down there that come up to that tee box, and they're not going to let their friend play the ladies' tee box or let them start out at this tee box. We don't care. You see anything on that golf card that says we're responsible for broken windows or injury? No. Not only that, I have to put up with personal injury. Now, I've had 3 windows broken here. A window broken there when I owned that house. What happened is, this is general protocol. This golf course was here 3 years before the houses. Okay? Every moron from the West Valley that came out here, they think they know golf. This is the only place they've ever played. They don't know a thing about golf.
So the course was here before your house went in?
Oh yeah, and everybody, the houses, what they did is they built this long championship narrow course that everybody wants to play grip and rip on. And a young man like you, if you've been playing here for 10 years, you've been able to get up on any tee box, grip and rip with no consequences. Complete impunity. If you take out somebody's window, oh well. All right? Now, they changed the golf course card right after they sold the golf course privately. Okay. This golf course was owned by the people who lived on the course.
Okay.
All right? It was part of the adult village. Golf course, adult village, all one. We all shared everything. That's why they put on the golf card when we were all one, you're responsible for property damage and injury.
Yeah.
All right?
Okay.
As soon as they sold the golf course and it went into private hands, they said, we're not going to get involved. We've got ghetto golf here. This is ghetto golf. They know 9 out of 10 people that go up to that tee box have never had a lesson. They know that 9 out of 10 people that go up to that tee box miss to the right. They know that everybody up there that thinks that they're going to go short because of that big void down there where the water can run, they have to aim to the right. I hear husbands tell their wives every time when they get on the tee box, aim to the right. So everybody's focus is, if I miss, I'm going to miss right.
Okay.
All right? Now, I've played golf all over this country. I've played Seattle, I've played San Francisco, I've played Boston, New York, South Carolina. When you play muni courses in San Francisco, Seattle, or anything, and that's what this is a muni, the Sundance Muni, they put up nets. Wherever there's a chance that somebody can get hit, they put up a net, or they fix it.
Okay.
All right? A course I played in California, it existed like this. This situation happened for 35 years. It was a course. They built a lot of houses around it. The people were plagued with broken windows day in and day out. On the 9th hole, it was so bad that the green was right up against the houses. So anybody that hit a bad tee shot back there, a young kid like you, he goes, I'm 275 out, I'm still going to try to reach it with a 3-wood. I'm going to par this hole, whatever, I'm going for it. And they grip and rip, and the easiest thing to do with a fairway club is to squirt it to the right or left. So they squirt it right, and they take out these houses.
Okay.
They finally the city, maybe after somebody got killed, or a child got brain injury or something from a golf ball, because this was happening every day, they finally moved the green. They took that one green that was the official green, they made it a practice green. Now they had a lake, they built a lake, and they moved the green to the middle of the lake. Now, if this golf course would show some class, and the people would step up and fix every one of these holes. Now, I got that broken, and a week before I got that broken, I got a broken window out front that came from that tee box up there. Another morphodite. Whoever laid this golf course out says, we got to get out of jail free card. Every time somebody complains, all we have to do is say, you bought a house on a golf course. Now, it says on the card, no trespassing. You're not supposed to trespass on anybody's lawn. And I get people trespassing on my lawn all the time. That distance from the golf cart right there up to here, I've seen Olympic records broken getting up to my lot. And they walk onto my lot like this is the golf course. This is a landing and recovery area for golf courses. If they didn't want us to use it, why is it here? I mean, you expect me to play a round of golf? If I play grip and rip golf all day and I can't go on the lots to get my golf ball back, I'm going to go through 2 dozen golf balls. Because that's the only way I know how to play golf out here. I've been playing golf here for 15 years. There ain't a lot I haven't walked on. And I resent the fact that this guy that owns this lot now and pays taxes on it and pays dues on it, everything else, I resent that he's going to tell me I can't walk on his lot. I have confrontations all the time with people. A guy like you, a big guy like you, walked up here one day and I saw him from the kitchen walking up and he was looking up here. He would have walked to between my houses if that's what a ball was. And I've seen people do it. He came up and I came up and I stood right there and I said, okay, what's your next move? Stare down. And the guy, now he realizes, oh, I can't go. You know what he did? He sat and he looked on my lot for about 2 or 3 paces just to look on it to think, my ball's there somewhere, all right? It was a pissing contest between me and this guy because he wanted that ball. He didn't want to leave it. Now, I resent morons from Nebraska, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Canada coming in here and just because and everything's an accident. Everything's an accident. If I wrote up a report, there was a report. The golfer goes,
I'm listening. Let's go stand in the shade. I'm getting all sweaty standing here. I'm still listening. Wrote up the report for what?
because I confronted a golfer. I was working yard. All right, I'm an old man. I was all stressed out. I was working at the airport. I was having panic attacks going to work. All right, I'm a little bit off emotionally. I went and saw doctors for it and everything else. What it was is I wasn't getting any sleep. Anyway,
So what's the clubhouse saying to you about this stuff?
they're not going to say anything because it means putting up signs.
Okay, and what's your HOA say about it?
My HOA, they kicked me out of the HOA. All right, and that's another thing. Why you're here, standards, please. Why you're here is because you won't take this report from me unless you come and interview me. You're going to get the facts before you do anything else. You did it last week when the guy comes, my neighbor 2 doors down, every morning. He's from Wisconsin. He's got himself a proprietorship easement on every golf ball in that lake. Every morning he gets out at break of dawn. By the time the sun is 20 minutes in the air, he's done. He's got 30, 40 balls in his bag. Every day he's here. He's a snowbird. I said to him one day, I got sick of seeing it. You know, it's like those balls are for golfers. To people who play golf and buy a golf fee, what's he doing taking their balls out of the lake? All right? If you're playing golf, you play and you got a little kid with you, maybe the kid's bored with golf, so you give him a stick and say, go try to find some golf balls, and he finds 4, you got him hooked for life as a golfer. That'll never happen with this guy down here. He gets up every morning and he scrubs that lake of golf balls. These are my golf balls. I don't own the lake, I don't own the golf course, but until I've found a loophole. I found a loophole. And then the policeman, instead of going to the clubhouse first, when he took the guy's report, instead of going to the clubhouse and clarifying from the clubhouse, is he legal doing this? Is he supposed to do that? No, he come and talk to me first. He comes and talks to me and he doesn't know the rule. I go, is he supposed to do that? He doesn't own the golf course, he doesn't own those balls. Why don't you go talk to the clubhouse? Okay? Now, this is the double talk I'm getting from the police department. Now, a year ago I went to a meeting. They don't want me in the meeting. I'm making a lot of trouble for them because they built my house wrong, and I'm doing everything. They kicked me out of the club. They kicked me out of the HOA because I went to a meeting. I sat through a whole meeting. Now, Charlie Waters gives Jackie Meck, or he used to, $30,000 to Jackie Meck's favorite charity, All Faith, every year. He even got up in a meeting and he said, this is $70,000 we've given your charity in the last 3 years from the golf course. So Jackie Meck isn't going to bite the hand that feeds him.
Well, look, I don't need to get on the tangent about the homeowners association.
Well, the thing of it is...
Now, listen. I gave you your chance to talk about it,
go
okay?
ahead.
So your concern is about the people coming on your property. And we can address that issue, but you have to call us as they're on the property because obviously no one's out there now.
Okay.
So I don't know who they are.
Well, if you go to the clubhouse, it's 2 young gentlemen. They're on the back 9 by now. They didn't put after 9. I approached them. They looked at me like I had 2 heads. What are you talking about? The one guy driving is typical. I play this course all the time. We walk in anybody's lot all the time. Why am I paying taxes? Why am I paying dues on a lot, a privately owned lot, and come over here and see this? This is another thing I dealt with your golf. There's no policy here. The policy is until somebody makes us move these tees and makes us start buying windows and paying hospital bills for children to get hit by golf balls, we're not going to touch this. We're going to leave it alone. We got them. We got the mayor on our side. We got everybody on our side. This window over here, this is what I'm talking about. That's why I called you.
Is this your house?
I used to own all 3 of these houses.
Do you own this one?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I can't sell it. You know why I can't sell it?
Why is that?
Because the city of Buckeye allowed the builder to sink my property 3 inches. The pad of this property is 3 inches low. That means the sewer pipes that run from the house out to the street are 3 inches low.
Why don't you sue the builder?
Have you ever talked to a lawyer?
On occasion, yeah.
What's the first thing they tell you?
I don't know, usually I'm on the other end of a defense interview when I talk to them.
Well, I've talked to several lawyers.
Okay.
All right, first of all, they got an ASU degree. That's a diploma factory. Any lawyer that comes out of the ASU education system, they don't have any civil rights background at all. none. Okay, I go into a lawyer and he says, give me 20, I don't want to hear nothing. Because whatever I hear will ruin me. If I hear it, I've heard it. Don't tell me nothing, write a check for $20,000 and expect 2 years and $200,000 for us to fix this for you. Have you got $200,000?
I don't.
No, that's why I'm stuck with this. And that's why I'm so angry, because the HOA, their thing is, we're gonna destroy your character. We're gonna have Charlie Waters call up a dispatcher who he knows, and the dispatcher's been given orders from Jackie Mack. If Charlie calls, do whatever he wants. Give him what he wants.
You're talking about one of our dispatchers?
I got the report in there. I went and got the report 2 days later. This Officer Morrison goose-stepped like a little Hitler goose-stepped up my stoop and pulled me out of the house. Now, if I would have had the children in the house, I've got a little girl
What are you
today.
talking about?
Huh?
What are you talking about, Officer Morrison?
Because Charlie Waters,
What's goose step mean?
goose-step means he was being a little Hitler youth. The dispatcher said, go out and give this guy a lecture. He had no paperwork. He had no complaint. He didn't even have a written complaint. Charlie Waters called on the phone, and the dispatcher dispatched that guy to my house. He didn't go and have to take anything from Charlie Waters.
So
All
just so I'm clear in this story, you're describing Officer Morrison as a Hitler.
Well, the way he came up, he's got no business to stand on my stoop and give me a lecture. I don't think the police department had any business unless Charlie Waters went over there, and then Charlie Waters puts in this report. I'm requesting that the chief of police have this guy crazy.
Okay.
I'm crazy
All right.
because I spent 4 years
So
in the
listen,
Marine Corps during
listen.
Vietnam. That's why I'm crazy.
Listen, you're getting all over the place. And I'm letting you rant a little bit because I want to hear what you have to say.
Well, I want to get it down because I
So,
want
but-
it to be on
but-
camera.
But listen,
This is
your
harassment.
concern today is about the trespassing on your property.
How do we stop it?
I can only catch them as it's happening, okay? I'll be happy to go up to the clubhouse and discuss it with the clubhouse. After I'm done talking with you here, I can go and do that. But ultimately, we got to catch them when they're on your property to talk to them about it.
Okay.
There's
I spent
hundreds of people that use the course every day.
This is catch-22. I was in the Marine Corps for 4 years during 68 to 72, the height of the Vietnam War. I used to do a lot of guard duty. And they'd say, what if the guy's charging with? You gotta say halt, you gotta go through the procedure. And that's what you're telling me. I can't go after anybody because I didn't see him and you didn't see him and you don't have a recording.
So listen, who do you want me to go after?
I want you to go
Give
in
me
the
their names.
clubhouse and say, what's the rule here? Are people allowed
Did
to
I
walk
not
up?
just tell you I would go to the clubhouse?
All right. What I'm trying to get across to you is, they set up a golf course here. They wouldn't let them build it in Scottsdale. This golf course
I don't
would
have
never.
any control over that. You bought a house on a golf course. This is part of the risk that you do run.
No. The part of buying a house
I
is
agree.
civic
And
responsibility
listen,
of the golf course.
I agree with you that
They
the
have a
windows,
civic
the windows and things. Do you not care what I have to say?
I wanted to show you over here. You see that street right there?
Listen. I understand the window thing, the solar panels. I don't live in this community. I don't know what the rules are about the golf course, but I get the argument for those. Those things seem like a civil issue between you and the golf course since you bought a home on a golf course. Okay? You're trying to argue that they're criminal damage by a person using the golf course. Well, I don't know who that person is.
And you don't have.
You
any-
can't report it to me
if
6
you
months
would've-
later.
The guy would have sent him to the thing and said, "There's two guys out there to golf. They're the only people on the front nine. When they come to the thing, they walked on somebody's land." Now, I also have called. I put in to have all kinds of security cameras. I'm a technician. I worked on airplanes for United. Okay, there isn't anything that I can't fucking build or do. I went to the HOA. I filled out a video. I even sent them a video on what the security cameras I wanted to put on the front and the back of my house. And I said on it, I'm going to have the cameras pointed at the tee box. They're going to be pointed at the golf cart. Anybody that walks in my yard, I'm going to have a video of it. Anybody that breaks my window, I may have a video of it. I'm going to have a camera out on that 600-foot public access easement out there.
And they told
Because
you,
it's a
and
24
is the moral of the story they told you no?
Oh, of course not. Oh, you're going to have cameras on the golf course with showing what happens, that little circus we're pulling off on your yard every day, where we walk in your yard anytime we want.
What do you
When I
think?
first-
What would you suggest the resolution is today?
Suggest the resolution is get the golf course to admit we have a problem. Our golf course, although it was a great golf course 15 years ago, and where people could come out and grip and rip with absolutely no protocol, didn't know the rules of golf, don't know privacy, don't care about privacy. All it is wherever the ball lands, we got a right to go get it. And that same attitude is here now. And they won't put a sign up. If they put a sign up down there, stay out of people's yards. We have a lot of balls go to the right. There's a lot of misses to the right.
Will they let you put a sign in your backyard that says no trespassing?
I'm not gonna, because I'd probably get a write-up. All right, I've had more.
I seen some of these homes have walls in the back. You can't put a wall either.
I can't do anything to my lot. This
Okay.
is they won't.
I don't
let
know
me-
the rules, so I'm
well,
not familiar with the homeowners
all
in
right.
this community.
Is your name Alan or Adam or
Why?
Anthony?
Andrew.
Andrew. One more thing I want to show you, and then you're free to go. And
All right, let's
you've
look
heard
at it.
me. You've heard me. You've heard my spiel, my concern. Here's one more concern. I told the officer last week. The same concern. The same concern. I hope. You know what I do when I see little kids when they're visiting their grandparents and they got their tricycles and bicycles and they're riding up and down the street? I go in and say a prayer. You know why? You see that golf ball there? There's two golf balls there. One there and one there. You know where they come from? There's a fairway right there. Well, you see that car parked on the street? Where you see that silver?
Yeah, on the right there.
Yeah, about 80 to 90 feet. Just to the right of is a tee box. And that tee box is on this side of the fairway.
So they're coming over the houses this way.
An east wind. The thing of it is, Anthony, if I can call you that, what it is it's the golf human factor. You get a young guy out here, when he goes to the range, all he does is hit long balls. He doesn't try to hit short balls. The thought of trying to keep the ball in the fairway and working it around the course, they don't. That's Ben Hogan golf.
Well, there's no fun in that, right?
Yeah, there's no fun in that. But the thing of it is, I'm a victim. Every time somebody gets up there and there's a 35-mile left to right wind on that tee box, and the guy goes, I've been, and I'll tell you how this happens if you're a golfer. When you tee off number one, if you've got a high fade, you tee off number one with an east wind, the east wind knocks down the high fade. You get on number two, you got the wind following you, you got a high fade, the wind knocks down the high fade because it's following wind, it sort of takes it out. So you're getting really cocky with this driver now, okay? So you get on number three is a par three, you can't get in trouble there. Par four, another wind's directly behind you, 30 miles an hour wind, cold February morning, dense hard wind. You crank one and you try to make the corner over there on number four, and you crush it. Now, we're up on number five, and the first time, all day long, you're seeing the left or right wind to go with your high fade.
It's coming over.
And you're gonna let the big dog eat. And there's nobody there that's saying, like a marshal or somebody saying, we got 35-mile, we got strong winds today. If you play grip and rip it, there's a good chance you're gonna lose it. On those days, officer, we have sometimes 50, if they sell 250 rounds of golf on a windy day here, we're going to lose 20 windows in this community because everybody's grip and rip. The mentality is we got to figure out a way to throttle this guy. How do we keep Jethro up there that weighs 250 pounds off that tee box? How do we take the driver out of his hand and say, you're reckless driving? They don't see it as reckless driving, and when they look at the scorecard, they read it, and I don't see a thing on here where we're responsible. Now, the day that window got broke, the lady that lives in the house was standing in the kitchen at the sink. Sounded like
Sorry about that.
sounded like a gunshot going off. She immediately brought me the ball. It was a Saturday morning, about 2 months ago. Nobody here. Nobody out there. The course is empty. This is one of the first groups coming down. She comes up crying, hands me the golf balls because she knows I'm going to be upset. So I come out, I bring my video camera, I got a video of it. I video the window, I video her telling me it just hit it. I walked out here and I waited. And I waited 15 minutes for the first group to come down through here. 2 young bucks and 2 older guys. All right? They wouldn't stop. I was standing in the cart path. The young guys almost wrecked their golf cart to avoid stopping for me because they knew. And you can hear it. When a ball breaks the window here, you can hear it. It's
Yeah.
like crushed, bang, tinkle, tinkle. Them guys heard
What's
it.
what's the clubhouse say when you call down there and say that you got a broken window from a golfer? What do they tell
go,
you?
We can't start buying windows. We can't start buying windows. What I'm trying
Have
to
you
get
thought about taking them to small claims court? Window's not big enough where you need like lawsuit status. Small claims court might get you some attention.
Well, I appreciate the advice. I mean, you're giving me a little advice, but I don't have trouble with I don't have experience with the law. I found out, I talked to 3 lawyers. I got arrested without being served here. I was walking this path. This path wasn't like this. All right, this path was filled in with trees. They captured it. They stole it for the people that live in these 2 houses. And I found out about it. And when I found out about it, I kept asking the golf course, we're supposed to be able to drive golf carts here, and we can't. They put the sign up because they stole that tee box. Little inside knowledge. That tee box where the ladies tee off is stolen. It was stolen 15 years ago when a couple engineers and surveyors got together and said, we're not gonna, we know they extended the pipe. We know they stole a tee box, but we're not gonna say anything. We're gonna let them have it. And whenever I say something, the reason we don't have a golf cart path here, because if we had a proper golf cart path and a proper catch basin where the tee box is, we'd have an emergency. That's another thing. This is those 2 portals over there are the only 2 portals into this. If we have a meltdown of any kind out on the highway, and then combined with maybe an accident around, you got ambulance coming into the trauma center, and then you have a stupid accident.
Yeah.
What's the odds, right? Now, somebody up the street at the cul-de-sac has a stroke, or they fall, or a little kid gets hit by a golf ball and they're in convulsions shaking on the street here. You got everything to get an emergency vehicle right up to the end of this track. They drive trucks up onto that tee box about once a weekend for the hole-in-one contest. Now, if you can take a 4-ton truck and drive it all the way to the end of this, why can't we drive a golf cart down through here? The reason we can't is this is supposed to be dropping like that. It's supposed to drain. It's supposed to be hard surface so the water won't erode it. That's why I got arrested. I kept saying on the plat map, everywhere in the world, a plat map has jurisdiction except here in Buckeye, because this was a handshake deal that was done 15 years ago. We don't care about your plat map that says that's an access easement. You ain't walking there. It's private property. So I started walking there every morning at 9 o'clock. On the 4th morning, I got 3 SWAT teams with their hands on their gun, and I got arrested for missing a court date that I never got served on. I spent 3 days in Joe Arpaio's jail with terrible diarrhea. I get out of jail, I'm 64 years old, never been in trouble with the police, got 800 credit score across 3 agencies. I paid off every friggin' bill on all 3 houses here. But when I found out that I got drafted, that's why they sunk my house. They drafted me. They said, we're filling this in because we stole a tee box. We don't have any place for the water to run here. So we're gonna fill it in. We're gonna make it 19 inches high. Right here, water's supposed to spill over here. If there's an emergency, it spills over here and it follows this channel onto the golf course, like a standpipe in a toilet.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they figured that all out and they got rid of it. Right there where that first bush is, it was 19 inches above here. The water, if it would have backed up here, had to defeat 19 inches before it could get onto the golf course. You know where 19 inches above here is? You see that first pole at the back of your truck? That's 19 inches. Before the water could ever get out of this neighborhood, if this pipe screwed up, it had to defeat 19 inches. So that meant it had to get all the way to that pole over there to get out of the neighborhood. They did it on purpose. They thought nobody was ever going to figure it out. Well, I figured it out. I figured it out. I got kicked out of the civil engineering part of the city hall yesterday. The other day I went down there last week, and I got an engineer on the phone telling me about it, and I was a little upset. I'm a little wound up because I didn't like at 64 years old having my face plastered all over the friggin' internet because Joe Arpaio sold my mugshot. Joe Arpaio, everybody he mugs every day, if it's 300, 400 people, they all get sold to 2 or 3 websites. all that information gets sold. I got out of jail, I went on the website, I put in my name in Google, and there was like 2 or 3 websites with my friggin', and arrested for missing a court date that I never got served on. When I got out of jail, Michael Lester, this little punk judge, who's on reprimand from a higher court for being a judicial misfit, gets me and it says, 6 months in jail, $2,500 fine, you beat up a golfer. I said, I didn't know about the warrant. He goes, of course you didn't. Here's your summons right here. We never mailed it. You never got it. I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps. I got drafted in '68. I'm looking at the American flag standing in a corner and thinking, what's this fucking country coming to? What is this country coming to where a policeman can throw fucking cuffs on me, put me in jail for 3 days, have my goddamn picture busted all over the thing, and when I get to court, the guy goes, of course you didn't know about it. We got you. It doesn't, the ends justify the means here. We don't have to tell you. You're an outsider. You came from California. You're not a local Buckeye person. All you've been doing is causing trouble over this. They drafted you. They sunk your house 3 inches. They made you a place to store water. They made you the first place that water's going to leave the building. And you wonder why I'm wound up a little bit?
Well,
wait until, how about you give service, or how you have your children in the car, if you have children. If you weren't a policeman, where you could say I'm an officer, and they're going to exonerate you right there on the spot. If you're a civilian like me, and you got kids in the car, right? Somebody entrusted you with their children for today. Like me, I don't have children, but I get entrusted with them. And the thing that I say about Officer Morrison, the last thing I need if I'm babysitting an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old is to have them look out my stoop window and having a 40-year-old or a 30-year-old kid pointing his finger at me, telling me I'm going to do something. Then he's got nothing. He's got nothing on him. I said, where's your paperwork? You got an injunction? You got anything on you? No. Dispatch told me to come out and tell you to quit. Then I go get the report. I go get the report, and Charlie Waters, 4 pages. I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. I've never done it. All right? I'm in control all the time. I can intimidate people with my mind and my voice and the way I talk and the way I maybe move or my gestures, but you never have to worry about me getting out of control, ever. Okay? Like I said, I spent 4 years in Marine Corps. I've been down there, I know stress, and I know how to handle stress. Okay? And I'm getting sick of this golf course making me be part of the profit and loss. This is profit and loss, right? The guy that broke that window, they made a $5 profit on him. They probably charged him $40 and they kept $5 and the rest was overhead. I took the loss. For a $5 profit, I took a $700. You know how much that window costs right there? About $750. And it ain't getting replaced. You're not gonna make me replace a window that I have no defense. And you see those hooks up there? I've got a thing to put up curtains. As soon as I put up a curtain on there, I'm gonna get a letter from the HOA. You're out of compliance, you're going to get the permission to do that. We don't like the looks of it. Okay? I've said my piece, thanks for coming by.
Yeah.
All right?
And
another thing about Officer Grant. Me and my Officer Grant were right here one day. The guy from Nebraska brings, and he puts 2 steel rusted rods in the middle of that thing. And Officer Grant is here, and I says, are you going to tell him to pull him out? Well, he walks over there with his tail between his legs, and he goes, and the guy tells them that my face is on the post office walls and stuff like that.
124423.
So the kid, Officer Grant says, I'd like you to remove him. I ain't removing him. So Officer Grant comes back to me and says he's not going to remove it. He's going to let the HOA do it. I go, it's Saturday afternoon. This is Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. The HOA isn't coming in until Monday. They ain't going to get moved. You understand that's a danger? They don't have any lights, reflectors, or nothing to put them in the middle. You're a police officer. Don't you recognize the reckless endangerment here? Finally, he went back and he said, you got to take him out. You can't leave him there. He's right.
What were the poles for?
The guy come here. When they dug that out, after I got thrown in jail and I got out of jail, somebody in Buckeye said, if this guy ever comes in contact with a lawyer that knows what he's doing, he'll own Buckeye. We arrested him without serving him. We didn't give him due process. We sucker punched him. We did it for the HOA. We did it for the mayor. We did it for Charlie Waters. We don't want anybody using that. We don't want to give back our T-box. I got an engineering letter. The engineer come out and took one look, and that's why I'm so vocal about it, and I got so vocal with the HOA, is I had an engineering letter from the top engineer in Buckeye that said, open that up, fix it. It's plugged up, fix it. You know how long it wasn't until I got arrested a year and a half later that they finally got some people out there to fix it, and then they didn't fix it because the mayor says make it look like an access easement, make it look like a drain, but they're not giving that T-box back. They're going to keep the T-box, they're not giving the drain back, and you fix it so the water stays up there. And that's what you got at the end, the threshold. Anybody that knows anything about physical science, a threshold is something that has to be overcome. And you have to overcome out there. They put tons of water here. The only time it ever breaches the threshold is when we get 2 or 3 inches an hour. When we get a deluge that it exceeds saturation point, that's when it starts bleeding out. But the rest of the time, if it rains slow for a week, they're going to store all that water under these houses. And that house right there is the lowest house in all of this parcel. And it isn't supposed to be. It's 3 inches low. I can't get anybody to talk to me. All right? At least the police department come and take videos of me, but it isn't going anywhere. It isn't going to do any good. Like I said, when they don't have an answer for you, you go in with documents. I've got all the documents. I got the blueprints. I go, the blueprint says my house is supposed to be this high, and it's this high. I got the other blueprint, the permit that you built it 3 inches low. A guy gave you permission to.
Well, look, I don't know what's happened with the meeting with the city planners or the engineers or whatever, but I can sense that.
To have to do the
But
deal
hold
with
on,
that.
but listen, you can tell you're frustrated with us. We don't deal with that stuff daily, so you got to understand from our perspective, some of that we don't even know what you're talking about.
All right.
Does that make sense at least?
Well, I had another window broke, yes.
The
Yes,
window
and you're
thing-
being very patient with me.
Well,
I
and
appreciate
the
it.
window thing and the trespassing, that makes sense to me. Those are things that I can talk to the clubhouse with and hopefully talk to the two
Well,
golfers out there about.
But
This other stuff about the house being sunk and the easement and things like that, those are city planning things that they're like way up here above me that we don't deal with every day.
when I give them my name down at city planning? Nobody's here. They're all out in the field.
I'm guessing part of that is because you're such a passionate guy that it's coming across like you're
yeah,
being
it's
hostile
cause-
with them. They
All
want
right, I
to.
own that house, and that house. That house was empty for 2 years. That one was empty for 2 years.
Well, I'm just in the spirit of giving advice, you might catch more bees with honey if you're just a little nicer when you talk to some of these people.
You know, when I walk into the clubhouse, you have 3 women there that are trained to look fearful. That they're in training. They go like they have drills in the morning. We'll blow a whistle and everybody goes like that. And that's what happened when they see me walk in with a bunch of blueprints under my arms and pictures and stuff like that. They all go and they reach for the phone. And we'll call the police because he's threatening us. We feel
But likewise,
threatened.
I'm telling the same thing is you're talking to the girl at the desk. She's probably the bottom of the barrel. She probably has no idea what you're talking about and doesn't
but
have
she
the
tells
answers
me,
for you.
Yeah, but she does. She tells me I'm the top of the barrel. I'm the manager. You have to go through me.
But I'm sure even as the manager, she doesn't have any idea about the planning and the irrigation and all. I'm sure she has no idea. She manages the
And
post
she
shop and
has-
sells tickets to golfers.
Okay. Not only does she not know any of that stuff, she doesn't want to know it. When the engineering letter came out here, it was a beautiful letter written by Woody Scouten. I don't know if you know who Woody is.
I do not.
He was the head engineer out here 15 years ago. He was under contract. He was an independent guru, civil engineering guru with all kinds of titles and certificates. So they put him in charge of all this out here 15 years ago. Well, what happened was, and I've got pictures to prove it, they roughed out a path all the way to the golf course. And they brought out a guy to buy it. But they didn't finish it. They didn't put the stuff on it that they were supposed to, this grouted riprap. And it got so complacent out here 15 years ago, there was nobody here. You want a signature? Buy a guy a beer at the Romans. Here, I'll meet you at the Longhorn. I got some paperwork for you to sign. Sure, I'll be right over. That's the complacency. And when the guy got here, and it wasn't finished and topped off right, the guy says, "Here, just give me a signature. I'll meet you at Romans here in an hour. I'll buy you a beer." Okay? So the guy signs off on it. So what do? That whole roughed out part, they got rid of it. As soon as the guy's wheels left the parcel, they said, "Okay, fill it in. Pull up all the plants, fill it in, make it the way we want it. We're going to fill this in, we're going to steal the golf club, and we're going to drop his house and make him the path for water." Right there between those two houses, that was the drain for 10 years until they dug it out. If any kind of a backup where that pipe failed for any reason, everything was going to, my house would have got ripped off its foundation. Okay? And they know it. And everybody in City Hall knows it. The same people that did hit this are the people running City Hall. Scott Zipperich. Scott Zipperich was the main man out here signing everything 15 years ago. I tried to get a hold of him and talk to them. Nobody's going to talk to me. We don't want to see it. The HOA, we'd rather kick you out of the HOA than have you stand up and start griping about this, because they know. I've told them in letters, this is, you think the book is closed on.
17 here shortly.
You think the book is closed on this. It's never going to be. As long as I'm living here, I'm always going to be complaining about this. And now I'm trying to sell my house. And I have to tell people, not unlike other parcels where if this was a real parcel, when that was a real thing, whenever you want to play golf, you just drive here, down there, onto the golf course. I have to tell them that they have to drive out the Sundance Parkway and down to the 7th tee box. You got to go a mile this way to go a mile that way. Okay, to the clubhouse. The clubhouse is that way, but we got to go this way because we don't want to give back that tee box. We're not going to make it legal. And the thing of it is, by keeping that tee box there, it keeps me, every time somebody walks onto that tee box, it doesn't belong there. It doesn't have the game to hit the shot. I'm in play. And I'm getting sick of it because these golfers, you have to educate them.
I hear you. I'm gonna head up to the clubhouse and see if I can't catch those two golfers up there.
I hope I've sensitized you a little bit to the plight of the people who live on this course.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
This goes on the day, well, I got 2 years ago. Same thing. I get a broken window. So I stopped the golfer and I shamed him. I go, "You guys aren't going to man up? You didn't hear that hit thing? You didn't hear it? I know you broke my window." And finally the kid goes, "I may have hit one over there." So I come, got all his name, address, everything. I think, I'll take it to the clubhouse. They're going to want to know this. I walked in, this little little golf pro, probably can't rub two nickels together, but he can hit. He can sting a golf ball. He goes, "I don't care about that. Why are you bringing that to me?" I said, "Because it's one of your golfers. You're the golf concession. You're a business. You're a golf concession. It's pay to play. You have a contract with these people. You're responsible for them." He said, "You see all these people I'm trying to sell greens fees to? I got a line going out the door." He said, "If you don't get out of here, I'm calling the cops. You bought a house on a golf course. All right? Now I'm trying to sell this house, and the first thing I have to tell them is," and I tried selling it, let them walk through it, get a feel for it and everything else, and then bring out that I have to tell you this. I used to sell real estate. I was an airplane mechanic. I'm honest, okay? I would never do anything. Plus, I'm going to be your neighbor, and I'm not going to sell you this house without telling you that they stole our golf cart path and they lowered your house that you're going to buy 3 inches. I'm going to tell them the whole story. I've been doing this for 2 years. The people walk through, they love the house, we're ready to buy it. Now I bring out the pictures of my house sitting in the middle of a lake every time it rains. I go, "You see this? I fixed this. I did 2 years of work here. I took out 200 yards of dirt, all this rock I put down here. There's a condom over everything. There's a plastic condom between this house and that house with tar paper over it. And I had to regrade it. The same thing over there, the whole back thing. I worked for 2 years. The golf course, the town, nobody came up and said, "Need some help? Need some engineering help? You need a hand?" No, they let me do it. Now when I complain about it, they come up to me and they go, "Well, you fixed it. You fixed it now." Yeah, I fixed it. 2 years, $7,000 plus the $6,000 I had to give the lawyer so I didn't have to go to jail. All right? I gave the lawyer $6,000, and the first thing the lawyer says, "Oh, Manny Bustamante? Oh, we like Manny." Well, he's the guy that had me arrested. He was the prosecutor, the rent-a-prosecutor.
He's the city prosecutor.
That's right.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get up to the clubhouse and try to catch those guys before they get off the course. Okay.
Well, there's a couple of young guys, but the thing of it is, they laugh at you.
I know, well,
It is golf course laughing. Ha ha ha.
I'll let him have that conversation with me.
Well, just remember, you ever have children in the car, and you're 64 years old, and you got the grandkids in the car, and you go through run a red light, and you think you're perfectly honest, and they go, you know, you don't never been having trouble with arrest, like half the people that live here. I never had. 64 years old, never been arrested. Got out of the Marine Corps, clean page 12, honorable discharge. All right, I retired from 2 airlines. I'm clean. And I have the Buckeye police say, we don't know how to deal with you. You know, they don't want you walking there. And you keep walking there and insisting you're going to walk there, so we're going to help the HOA out because they help us out. We're going to backdate a warrant. What they did is, my neighbor took pictures of me 4 days in a row, and she sent those pictures to the HOA, and they sent them to Jackie Mack. And Jackie said, oh, he's provoking them. He's provoking their neighbors. They told him he can't walk there, and he's insisting on walking there. It was civil disobedience. It's just like walking with a picket sign. Next thing I'm going to be down, I'm going to put a sign out in my yard. This house was built bad, wrong. Maybe do I have to get a permit from the Buckeye Police Department to put a sign out like that?
The police department doesn't give out permits.
Yeah. You don't see anybody walking picket lines around here, do you?